Shouldn't have asked that question. All right, so this is from George, also from New York. Conan, you have the power to change the game on YouTube. What are you waiting for?
What does he mean exactly? What am I waiting for? Like, clarify, please.
Unfortunately, George is in New York.
Oh, okay. I'm not waiting for anything. I'm going with the flow. That's what I'm doing right now. I've been through a transformative event in the last 3.5 months. Just a really nice way of saying I got screwed. You have no natural reflex.
Yeah,
They built you here, didn't they? There's some nerd way in the back. The program's faulty.
I have to admit,
It's not reading correctly.
You're pretty impressive to pick up on that. My wife didn't realize that until after we were married. So, okay, let's. Okay.
Now the nerd's like, we've really got to fix this thing.
So, what sketch have you always wanted to do that wasn't safe for network television, and will you bring it to life on cable?
Wow. Okay. Well, we've had many thoughts over the years about things that we weren't sure we could do, but I have to say, for the most part, I got away with murder. There's this illusion that these men in suits restrained and shackled Conan. They never really let him grow a beard or do comedy that was weird. And the truth is, because for a long time, for the majority of my career, I was on at 12:35 at night. Nobody that I worked for watched my show. They didn't see it. And so we just ran with it. I think about all the things we did over the years that are just completely absurd, obscene, weird. They didn't go through any filter whatsoever. And often, every now and then, they assign a lawyer to watch the show and give us notes, and they were constantly missing the incredibly obscene thing we were doing and giving us notes about pronunciation of something completely unrelated. So there's not a lot that I couldn't do. I think it's more about the tone. I think the tone might change a little bit now because, like I say, I've been through this event, and the last 3.5 months has been all improvisation. The groundswell of internet support from a lot of young people that are in this room completely took my network by surprise. They don't know what hit them. I think there's a lot of people in broadcast television that are very dismissive, or have been very dismissive about the internet. And they're also afraid of it. They tend to deride what they don't understand. So when this explosion happened on the internet, when they announced that, well, okay, maybe we're going to slide Conan over to accommodate this other gentleman who's having his difficulties in another time period, and I won't get into specifics, you'll have to look it up. And I said, you know what, that doesn't really work for me. I think in a fairly polite way. There was suddenly a huge reaction from people, some of the people in this room, a lot of people like you across the country said, wait a minute, we like this person, and this person kind of, we're with him, and they started reacting on the internet. And the first thing that happened at my employers, they saw this huge explosion on the internet, and they thought that I was doing it. And they really had this attitude of, make him stop. Why is he doing this? And they just didn't understand what was happening. I think they still don't understand what's happening. And my feeling is, what I've learned is, I had nowhere else to go, so I started on Twitter because I literally had no other option. I was and am legally prohibited from appearing on television, radio, and doing performances on the internet. So I was just literally like a prisoner in a 14th century cell, writing little things on a scrap of paper and throwing them out the window. And hoping, a peasant would go by and, hey, what's this? He's in the tower. So I started to do that and send out these little things, and it exploded overnight. And at first I started to hear a little bit of stuff from the other side saying, well, we're not sure you should be allowed to because of the... And then they realized the absurdity of shutting down my Twitter account. So that started with that. And then I started to think about the tour, which I'm allowed to do. And so we started this idea for a tour. And then what was fascinating is by the time we launched the tour or announced the tour, I didn't spend one penny on advertising. I sent out one tweet that directed people to a website where you could buy your ticket. That was it. And the show sold out in a couple of hours across the country. And that's got a lot of people rethinking how things are marketed. And there's not one billboard, I didn't have to go to one radio station and sit with morning DJs, and hawk my show. I didn't have to do any of that. It was one tweet. And I think people are starting to understand that the world has completely changed. And, it has. It is changing. And I think we can do better. Sorry,
That was great.
forgot I wasn't running for something.
Yeah.
But I think that's the biggest lesson that I've learned in the last 3.5 months is it's just a good life lesson. And I'm not trying to sound corny or anything, but these things happen to you and you think you've been dealt a terrible hand or you've had bad luck. And when you just go with it, you just start improvising, suddenly you realize that you stumble upon some of the best things that have ever happened to you. And what's interesting about Twitter is that because you're limited to, I think it's 140 characters, someone's going to correct me right now. Not so! You're all going to rush the stage, beat the crap out of me. But because you're limited, it's actually a great comedy writing tool. You're forced, there's this economy of words. So I'm constantly writing things, and then I run them past Blair, Big Blay, who's taking the pictures over there as if he doesn't have enough photos of me. And he'll say, well, that's actually 3 words over, and it forces you to look back at the sentence, and it forces you to crystallize your comedy idea, which is fascinating. And the other thing is this whole tour wouldn't have happened. This tour is a dream come true for me. I've always wanted to, it's half rock show, half comedy show, and then it's this fantasy to get to do this. So the last 3.5 months have been the most interesting time in my entire career, and I wouldn't have traded this for anything in the world. And so 3.5 months ago, what looked to everybody like bad luck has become amazingly good luck. And I think that is a lot of what relates to everybody here. A lot of you are in your 20s, and you take for granted that, well, this is the way the world is right now. But from my perspective, it's changed dramatically in just 7 years. And I don't even know where we're going to be 5 years from now. So I don't know what television is going to be 5 years from now. There's a lot of people that think you're just going to experience it all through your server. And people don't even know how the business is going to change. There might not be really network television as we know it. Wouldn't that be sweet? So you know what I mean? There's just, who knows? So, seize the day. Carpe diem. I hate it when people say carpe diem. I really do. I just wanted to work it in. I'm going to keep talking to you. Ask me another question.
Well, I mean, your point, I think your point about, with the Tonight Show fiasco ending up, the best things you could have ever imagined happening to you. Look, you're here, taking questions from me.
Again, incredible arrogance of you people. The incredible arrogance. I say that, yes, you're right, this is the best thing that ever happened to you.
Yes.
Because you made it to Google with us Googlers.
Gee, man. Jay Leno has a big chin. You have a giant head.
Can't talk about that other guy.
Yes, it has a big chin. You
Legal
have
restraints. Legal restraints. Man, why can't you mention me? I didn't do anything. I did as I was told. Thank you.
All right. So So this other
Just for the
guy.
record, that's my impression of rapper Ludacris. We all on the same page on this? That's my Ludacris impression. Yeah, check out my new album. It dropped May 5th. Rapper Ludacris. Later in court, yes, Your Honor, that is Ludacris.